here today to teach you a repeatable method for setting and achieving big, hairy, audacious goals. We're going to go through the limitations, the tools, the strategies you need in order to retain the benefits, the actions you need to take, and how you're going to present this to the world. The first tool I want to talk about is boundaries. In order to achieve a big, hairy, audacious goal, you're going to need to become really strict with your time and your energy, and that involves starting a lot of things that you probably haven't done before, and also stopping things that you haven't done before. The only way that you're going to get where you want to go is if your life reflects your desire. I mean, it's easy to say that you want $1 million or your dream body or your dream partner, but if your life stays the way that it has always been, where you haven't got those things, you're never going to get them. And the boundaries that you set in pursuit of a goal are going to be informed by a mindset shift that you take on, where you become the person that achieves. It's not enough to just want it. Your entire life has to mold around this desire. Not perfectly, but increasingly, right? So day by day, little by little, putting more time and energy toward the things that you want instead of the things that are keeping you where you are now. Achieving something big requires work, it requires movement, it requires change and transition, and that makes sense, right? Because if you already had these things, they wouldn't be goals. And if you're unsure what needs to change in your life in order to make your dream, your goal, realize in this physical world, Tony Robbins has 5 great questions that I love using. The first one is, how is this great? So we're looking at like a problem situation in your life and using it. How is it great? What's not perfect yet? So we're kind of taking into account that you have this goal that you want to achieve, but you're not there yet. You know, there's something that's become an obstacle for you. So question 1, how is it great? What's not perfect yet? That's question 2. What do I need to do to make things how I wanted? And follow up to that, what do I need to stop doing to make things how I want it? And then the final question is, how can I enjoy it? For me, these 5 questions really encapsulate what it means to set useful boundaries in pursuit of your goals, and they help define what is actually useful in your pursuit. When it comes to setting and achieving big, hairy, audacious goals, your idea in and of itself of what a goal is, that whole concept has to change. And I say this because I think most of us are really familiar with things like SMART goals, where your goal has to be specific, measurable. I don't remember what the A is. I think R is realistic and T is timely. That's great and all if you're wanting to just incrementally improve your life, but I would argue that it is far easier to set an extremely high, unrealistic, seemingly unattainable goal for the simple fact that there is only one possible way for you to get there. For example, if I were to set a realistic goal of doubling my income, there are basically infinite ways that I could do that. I could ask for a raise, I could get a second job, I could work twice as hard, I could do a few side hustles and spend twice as much time to make twice as much money, if that makes sense. But I could do it in any number of ways. Whereas if my goal is to multiply my income by 10, a lot of those options start to fall away. I can't work 10 times as hard, I can't get 9 more jobs to make 10 times as much money. I have to think strategically about how I can multiply my income. And because those options all start to fall away, what's left is simplicity and actually a really straightforward path to get where I want to go. It might not be easy, but it is much more straightforward. Not to mention, there's way less competition for big, hairy, audacious goals. Think about how many people would love a raise or would love to double their income. Think about how many side hustles there are to make extra cash on the side. Think about how many people try out different side hustles, but how many people are actually going all in on something crazy and seeing it through to the end. When you set a really big goal too, it's for something that you really, really, truly want, and that's much more motivating than something that would just make your life 5 or 10% better. For example, I probably would not so much as even change my toothpaste brand in order to take a trip to Cincinnati, Ohio. However, I would be willing to put up a lot more, sacrifice a lot more, make a lot of big moves and big changes in order to spend a year traveling around the world. Setting huge goals and then working to achieve them is way more worthwhile because then you're working with a purpose. You have so much more fuel to achieve because it's something that you actually really want instead of just something that will make your life marginally better. And I know that if you're watching this, there is a possibility and even a likelihood that you haven't achieved that many goals before, and I can definitely relate to that because it's something that's new to me as well. What I can say on this is that it's probably due to limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are essentially thoughts that your brain has repeated so many times that your psyche, your subconscious accepts them as law. These tend to develop in childhood when something negative happens and your child brain has to come up with an explanation for it. And a lot of times a child's brain will explain an unfortunate situation by assuming, oh, I must be the problem. I must be unlovable. I must be stupid. It must be all my fault. And then every time thereafter that a similar situation comes up, your brain pops up with that same answer. Oh, it's because I'm unlovable. Oh, it's because I don't deserve it. Oh, it's because I'm not capable, I'm stupid, etc. Whatever your particular flavor of limiting belief might be. If this sounds like you or you're interested in learning more, I have a link down below with more information. Make sure to check that out. But either way, in order to set and actually achieve your big, hairy, audacious goals, you're gonna need to start building more self-trust. Increasing self-trust helps to completely eliminate limiting beliefs, and you build this self-trust by doing what you say you're gonna do. I know personally there are a lot of things that I've wanted to do in the past and then just never taken any action toward them. They fall by the wayside, and then they serve as fodder for my limiting beliefs when I'm like, oh well, you know, I can't, or I don't deserve it. I think about all the times that I didn't follow through on something that I wanted, and it just reaffirms this perception of myself that I already have. And that self-perception is never gonna get you where you wanna go. So it has to change. And I have an exercise to help. Just grab a pen and paper and we can do it together. Step 1, write down all the things that you've ever said you wanted to do but never got around to. It's gonna be probably, if you're anything like me, a pretty big list. Once you have that list compiled, it could be 10 things, it could be 200. You're gonna go down the list and decide if it is still something you want to do or not. If it's something you don't wanna do, cross it off with pride. I don't wanna do this, I'm not interested, I'm moving on. Then you take anything that you didn't cross off and decide if it's something you want to pursue now or at a later date. If it's something that you're still interested in but now is just not the right time, go into your calendar and create an event either 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, whatever feels like the right time frame for you, and create an event. Let's say you want to take up playing the flute. Create an event that says revisit playing the flute. And then when that day rolls around, you'll get your notification and you'll see it on your calendar. Oh, today I need to revisit playing the flute. From there you can decide, okay, do I have the space to start doing that now, or do I want to set another reminder another 6 months out and revisit it then? That way the goal is still on your radar. It's not falling by the wayside. You're moving with intention. It's just not time right now. Then you're gonna have some items on your list that are for right now, that you don't want to pursue at a later date, that you want to take action toward right now. So take action. Write down a few steps that you could take and start taking action by the end of the week. Whether that means buying yourself a new camera, or going to get your film developed, or signing up for a class of some sort to get a skill or certification that you really want. Start taking action and then continue to take some sort of action every single day toward your goal. Achieving big, hairy, audacious goals is going to require daily action. This is again where your boundaries are going to come into play. You're going to have to clear time and clear space in your mind to make this thing a priority. And of course, not every day is going to be big, and that's part of why goals tend to fall by the wayside. Not every day is going to carry a feeling of achievement, and not every day is going to feel like really cool and glamorous. But the point is that if you take action every single day, day after day after day, if you continue to move the needle forward, eventually you're gonna get there. I do just need to stress that when you are setting and achieving really big goals, it's gonna take longer than you want. I know there's probably a lot of content that you can find online, or even books you can read about manifesting, how your thoughts create your reality, and that is partially true, but the complete truth is that we live in a physical, three-dimensional realm. Your thoughts, your goals, and your dreams exist in like the ether, right? The fifth dimension, whatever you want to call it. And that's kind of what manifesting is getting at, that they already exist. But the thing is, we need to bring them here to this physical reality. And you can't do that just with thoughts. You have a body and a mind because you're supposed to use them, and you're supposed to use them to put in work, to bring things down from the ethers, from the imagination, from the like heavenly realms into this reality. And the way that you do that is through time and space. Time is not something that we can get around as human beings. I know that there are many people who might try to tell you otherwise, but the fact is that time is a tool. You can choose to see time as a limitation, motivation, but it's not going anywhere. So use it as a tool. Know that anything is possible in time. Know that time and space are incredibly necessary in order to bring the things that you want to you. This is probably the number one reason why people give up on their goals, because it will take too long, because they'll have to change too much about the way their life is right now. But this is again why I stress that it's important to set goals that you feel very, very strongly about. Your 10x goals, your exponential goals, your big, hairy, audacious goals, because those goals are the ones that are going to motivate you the most. Those goals are the ones you'll want to keep pursuing even when it feels like it's not going anywhere. And when you know that it's going to take way longer than you expect, and it's going to take way more effort than you probably thought at first. That is a gift. It's a reminder that just because things get difficult doesn't mean you're on the wrong track. Big, hairy, audacious goals are motivating, and in my opinion, I think they're also incredibly necessary to the well-being of a human. I feel very strongly that as human beings, we are called to do way more than is expected of us because we can. As far as you and I know, this is the only life that we get. This one precious life is all that we get. You are free, of course, to choose to spend this life getting by, getting the bare minimum, growing slowly, and thinking about your goals as far off distant dreams that are not meant to come to fruition in reality. But you don't have to. You also have every right to do way more than is expected of you, because you can. You are able, and that ability speaks to the reality that it is in your best interest to do so. If you've ever struggled with depression or feeling a lack of purpose in your life, I can tell you from experience, it's because you're not dreaming big enough. You need something that really lights you up inside, something that you can work towards, and maybe you won't succeed, but maybe you will. I can tell you right now, you definitely won't succeed if you don't even try. And I think that's part of where that kind of existential depression comes from. You don't have purpose, you know you're not going to achieve anything because you're not trying. So I encourage you to try, to do way more than is expected of you because you can. I think too many of us define success by the material achievements that come with it, but in reality, success is just having something that you are working on. Success is having a purpose. When you have a purpose, when you have something you are working on, you are successful, period. This is what being a human is all about. It's not about money, it's not about possessions, it's not about achievements. It is about having something that you care deeply about and working towards it. Now, when you've found a goal that is precious to you, that is huge and crazy, and it feels like it might not even be possible, but it just lights you up inside, I encourage you to document your process. You can do that publicly on social media. A lot of people do, and that's part of how they find success, but it doesn't have to be. If you want to do it privately, do it privately. You can do private video diaries. You can take notes in your notes app about how things are going, progress and things that you've learned along the way, or you can journal with pen and paper. The purpose of documentation is reflection and repeatability. It's for you to think critically about what works, what doesn't, and how you can make things even better the next time you try. How the next turn of the wheel can be even more fruitful, even more successful. How you can bring even more of your dream down into reality over and over and over again. Before I go, I just have to say again, a successful person is not the person who has all the money, the cars, the relationship, whatever it is. A successful person is someone who has purpose, who has an aim and works to achieve it. As soon as you find that aim, as soon as you find that purpose, you are a success.